Oh, hey, and thanks for tuning into another episode of the Full Frontal Living podcast. It's always a little bit sketch when I record these podcasts when I'm out and about, but with these almost spring-like conditions, I couldn't resist getting out for a walk, and sometimes that's when some of my best downloads come through. So I don't think today will be a long episode. I just wanted to touch on coaching, mentorship, and context. So if you're paying attention in the world, you probably noticed that, we kind of live in this time of, 30-second clips, these short little snippets that are often created so that we'll click on them. The media wants us to do that. Content creators want you to do that. They literally create these clips that are meant to grab your attention because they know that we don't have a long attention span. That's why I'm so grateful for anybody who's tuning in and listening because, you're hanging out with me for 20, 30 minutes sometimes longer than that. So these clips that we see are meant to grab our attention, spark some sort of emotion in us, and often they don't provide the entire context or frame of the whole conversation. So people get their knickers in a knot over things they're seeing on social media without actually exploring further the entire context of the clip. Like, what was the whole interview? What was the whole episode? They're just grabbing this little snippet, which made me think a lot about coaching. And I know some of you have a really hard time wrapping your brains around what would cause somebody to invest time, financial resources into coaching, especially nowadays when we've got so much free stuff out there, including, my podcast, there's books, there's audiobooks, there's blog posts. Like, we are not short on content these days. I mean, we are living in a content-rich world. There's more content created every day than you will ever consume, me included. So here's what makes coaching so powerful. So coming back to that concept around context and why it's not so great to be your own coach. Because when we have a problem, we are always working from inside our own context or our own frame of reality to solve the problem. But we're trying to solve the problem, as I said, from inside the context or from inside the frame that actually was part of creating the problem. So you can read a self-help book and you might get some snippets of wisdom out of that self-help book, but you're still reading it through the lens that you've built your life on. So when you work with a coach, the difference is I don't share your frame of reality. I'm not working from your context. And my entire job is to move you out of your current context and help you see things in a way you've never seen them before. Why haven't you seen them that way before? Because of the frame of reality that you are working from in. So when you read a book, you're reading the content, but you're pulling out the pieces based on the current context you're working from. So I personally believe that everybody has the answers that they need within them. So my job as a coach is not to find the answers for you. My job is not to tell you what to do or give you advice. My job is to listen to what you're saying to me and hear the context that you're working from, and then poke holes in that context. Poke holes in that context so that we can create an entire new context for you and start to reshape your frame of reality. So that might be how you view your relationships. It might be how you view your relationship with money, wealth, abundance. It might be how you look at time and energy. It might be the frame that you're working from regarding your body, your career, parenting, you name it. We are all working from stories, and those stories create our reality. And until we have somebody poke holes in the context that we're working from, we will continue to create the same thing over and over and over and wonder, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get this? Because all the women and men that I work with are incredibly smart humans. These are not stupid people. But this is exactly why when somebody loses a bunch of weight, they often put it back on again because they haven't changed their model of reality. So they might have lost the weight, but if they're in their heads, they're still working from this person who is overweight, out of shape, not healthy, whatever you want to call it. Or this is also why we see people who win the lottery, for instance. They come into a whole bunch of money, but if they don't have that frame of what it looks like to be wealthy and abundant, if they don't have a strong identity around wealth management, how to care for their money, how to be in a healthy relationship with money, what ends up happening? Most people who win the lottery end up having no money. Same thing in relationships. You look at people who have been in unhealthy relationships, and then they go on, so they eventually maybe leave the person, and then they go on just to recreate that relationship with somebody else. Might look slightly different, but it's the same thing. And this is because they have not changed the frame that they were working from. So they will repeat those patterns over and over again. So can you move forward and create change for yourself without working with a coach, without working with a therapist, by reading a book, you're going to have changes. You're going to see things a little bit differently. And it's like taking the slow boat versus, I can go in, sit down with one of my coaches, have a powerful conversation, and have something in my life completely flip and change in the blink of an eye. Because once you see things through a different lens, you can't go back to seeing it the way you saw it before. Things change, your context changes. So this isn't about not being capable. All the people I work with are incredibly capable. They are highly responsible. They are the ones that everybody counts on for all the things. They are very, very self-reliant. This is not about being self-reliant or capable. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with context and the frame that you're working from. So until you change the frame, not much in your life is going to change. So there is a short, tight little truth bomb for all of you tuning in today. This is really just a quick episode as I had some thoughts downloading as I was going for a walk. So I hope that you receive that. And if you are looking for somebody who is an absolute master at context, at looking at context, at seeing past your stories, send me a DM. I will put the link in the show notes. You can go to lisacarpenter.ca/WWM and put in an application to work with me. We've got spots open in reclamation right now. There's a couple tiers available. All of them come with a certain amount of one-to-one coaching. So if you're wanting to go deeper, this is what it's all about. And then inside reclamation, we also have group calls where you're getting to see people being coached in real time, and we're moving them out of their context. So there's a lot of power in social learning and in my rooms because they are small communities. There's no hiding. There's no hiding. So I'd love to see you in there. So if you've been looking for the right time to work with me, now is the right time. So thanks for tuning in. Again, super short episode. We'll have more coming at you in the following episodes coming out. I am still finding my groove with podcasting again after having a hiatus last year, and things are starting to fall into place. So I've got a lot of things in my own life, in my own context, my own frame of reality that are shifting for me. And sometimes when that happens, there is a period of integration that also follows it, which is an important part of the embodiment and transformation process. So until next time, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful, and I'll catch you on the next episode.